All right, we're actually live now, I believe.
Are we just on Zoom or are we on YouTube as well?
YouTube. I'm gonna check to see
We're on
if
YouTube.
that pulled up here. Unless I have some issues tonight, I don't know, but I will check.
Yeah, I'm not
Okay.
showing you live quite yet.
No, it's not.
Now, here we go. You're just coming up. Okay.
All right. Has it caught up yet? And if this doesn't work tonight for some reason, uh, okay, Olive Branch said she's talking right now, but we can't hear her, so I'm going to tell her to do a test for her microphone. Um, it could have went off. She said she's speaking, but I can't hear her.
Okay. Yeah, she usually blasts in pretty good.
Yeah. All right, so I'm just waiting to see if she's going to come in and then see if uh, YouTube's going to catch up. Okay, it's looking like it's starting to catch up here, so I'm just going to kind of give all
Can
of.
you hear me now?
There you
Yes, now
Can
we
are!
you hear
can.
me? Oh, oh, good. I left and I came back. So that did the trick there. Excellent.
I hear your brother in the
Can you guys
background.
still hear me? Yeah, in fact, I'm going to go on mute for a second and I'll be right back. So you guys just go on and I'll be right back. Okay?
Okay, sounds good. All right, so hi, Bubba, Memory Lapse, Tim, Gulp. Who else do we have in here? Nemesis. Uh, okay, I'm gonna see. Welcome everybody. Anyways, this is Studio X News, and we're gonna kind of go over some current events and talk about some things and answer questions um, from everybody. Hopefully, here the internet is going to work out. I don't see. Oh, let me check my screen. That's why. Okay. Here we go. Let me see if it switches to the live screen. We are going to deal with just a tad bit of buffering from here and there as I'm using a satellite internet, but if you guys can just go ahead and bear with me. Usually it turns out to be just fine. It buffers maybe here or there just for a second, but we can all deal with that. Um, so I'm looking at what you guys are talking about right now. Bubba says, listening to what I missed last night, I had a thought on Seattle. Have you thought that if they do a bomb or something, well, yeah, they're. I guess we shouldn't say that word. I got to start being careful of how I say things. If they do something like that, there's actually a couple YouTube channels out there that were talking about this, and they're actually calling it 311, kind of like 911. So I really don't know. I haven't been able to do too much research into it, but I plan on doing that. So I don't know why Seattle would be a focus for something like that. I'm not sure. A lot of the times they use a lot of scare tactics and try to get the
Well, I,
public freaked out.
I used to live in Las Vegas, and every week there was a new threat of some kind. I mean, it was just part of what you dealt with all the time. This was back in the 90s.
Right. I mean, if they do, I mean, I don't know. But, and to answer Tim's question about what is going on with the UN troops, I don't know the answer to that exactly. I don't know why. I mean, they've been coming here for a long time. We've all seen lots of stuff happening, but from the information I'm gathering from some really good sources, especially like Dave Hodges, is something's about to go down. And he was talking today basically saying to get ready, because they're going to try to initialize this system, one world system thing that they got going on, and that on the 19th the Marines actually, that's when the activation goes live. Right now they're getting their briefings, is what I have learned today, and that everybody's basically in position. And he was saying, make sure you got your water, make sure you got your food, make sure you got this. I don't really know what to take of it, biblically speaking, and then listening to what everybody's saying, I'm kind of in a little bit of a whirlwind, like, I'm watching, and of course, I want to have, just case anything happens, earthquakes or whatever, want to have my water and my food and stuff like that. But it does kind of concern me, the fact that on October 19th, the Marines are going to go live. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but there's been even more sightings of the blue helmets around, and they're still all confirming that they're Chinese and some Russian. So I don't understand what this is. Have you found out anything, John?
Not really. I had a lot of other things going on today. I wasn't able to really do much research at all.
Yeah, I was pretty tired today, actually.
Yeah, me too. That was a late night.
It was, and I actually spent most of most of my day re-listening to what was said last night on the live show. So I was just trying to listen to what this guy was saying, and really kind of focus in on some things, and tried to verify through other sources. And so it took me a while today to get through that, but in the midst of this, I was able to still check out, what Dave Hodges is saying and stuff like that. And apparently something's really going on here, or our troops wouldn't be, never in history have they been inactivated on our soil. You know what I mean? So something's obviously
Right,
going on. Um,
right.
Memory
Yeah,
lapse.
something's going on there. Yeah.
I don't know, Memory, what the unmentionable subject is. Some I've heard a lot of talk about the Cascadia uh, quake zone and all that. Somebody was mentioning yesterday. No, I think that was the gentleman that came in and talked about. And actually, lots of channels talk about that. And I don't know how I feel about them being able to control the weather. I don't. Can they do that, John? Can they control weather and make hurricanes and earthquakes with HARP and all that? Is that something true? Or, I mean, do they have that capability? Is that legit?
I've heard rumors of it. I'm not sure if it's entirely true or not. That to me, that sounds like the ultimate grab if you could do that, because why, why would you punish the world with bad weather in that case? Wouldn't you want to control it so you get just the perfect amount of rain and the perfect amount of sunshine and everything for all the crops? that'd make more sense. I don't. I'm not sure. I'm completely on board with that. But then you never know what some of the stuff is. You know, if they've been getting help behind the scenes through dark forces behind the scenes, like fallen angels and that, it's hard telling what they might have at their disposal.
Well, yeah. See,
I
that's
just want to
true.
say something. There was classified documents that were declassified, and weather warfare was a part of the declassification.
You're
It
right.
was.
Yeah.
And this goes back to the 60s and the 70s and even the 50s. And another point that I want to bring up, there was a scientist out of the state of Oregon, and he accidentally caused a small earthquake to happen. I watched a whole thing on this, and it was by emitting some type of frequency. So, you guys have to remember that Satan is the prince of the air, and Christ, he rebuked the storm. So there are things to this. Now, one could go too far down the rabbit hole, but I do believe that weather warfare is real.
Right.
You know, and they can flood some places out. They can
Like
cause
the
it to not
Midwest.
rain. Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. Now, some would claim that, oh, I forget, like this is a part of the solar minimum. And it's, oh, I forget what they call it, but it keeps on moving north. And so some would claim that it's a part of that. So I do believe that there is some truth in weather warfare.
And Bubba's bringing up a good point there.
Let's see what Bubba said.
Well,
If the two witnesses have the power to shut up heaven and stop rain, you think that
Very good. That's
and
a
it's
very
true,
good
with the weather
point.
too. That's a very good point.
Very good point. And memory, excuse me, you really should go to last night and listen to what this person was saying. It is quite interesting stuff. So it's definitely on that level. I think so, but you definitely have to check everything out.
right. I think he's been through a lot in his military career, and I've actually heard a few other people that have been through what he has, and they actually say the same thing. And a lot of them come back saying, well, you don't know what I know. I've been shown the world. You only know Western. You don't know Eastern. And they tend to get this, what they call a spiritual awakening of what they think. But to Christians, to us, we know that that's just those lies. And I'm not trying to hurt his feelings. He has the right to feel whatever he feels. But in my beliefs, that's just shown what the lies that Lucifer spreads through those types of, religious or spiritual beliefs. And I don't believe in that kind of stuff. So that's the only thing I don't agree with, but I do agree and verified almost everything that he said. Whether it's a deep subject or not, it's true. Those things that he was talking about have happened, do happen, and a lot of what he said was declassified. So if he was an agent or an intel or whatever, he wasn't saying anything that wasn't available to the public. It is all declassified information. You can look it up.
Right.
So
Well, yeah, and I've heard a lot of those same things too over the years. that he was talking about, like they will use like these like when he was talking about drugging people and then putting them in compromising sexual positions and
Yeah.
filming them and then coming back to them afterwards. I've heard variations of that. He seemed to have a little bit more detail on a lot of these subjects, and that was kind of interesting to me because the level of detail seemed to be pretty good on that. So that a lot of these things I have heard about like that, that they use these like secret porn films to blackmail people and do
Yeah.
it that way.
That's been in our movies in Hollywood for a long time, and a lot of the things that they put in movies, they do. My
Yeah,
family's been in the politics for quite a while. I'm not going to mention where and how, but there was also a sort of a scandal thing going on in that area. Um, so it does happen, and I wouldn't put them past doing that kind of stuff, because look at the foulness that they do on a regular basis that they think's okay. Look at I'm not going to say these names out. I don't want to lose my channel, which I probably could be very close to losing it at
right.
this point. So I'm going to call him Harry Upstein. And if you can put that together of what that person is, just like his ranch, and that guy was talking about Harry Upstein, um, the things that they all were doing that included that whole, situation was just kind of the same things he was talking about. And it is true.
Right.
And why that place wasn't busted, or why that place was, I don't understand why it's at a stall. Like he said, well, because it gets to the CIA door and they say drop it. So I don't exactly know what's
Yeah.
going on in that case.
Oh, there's a lot of things that I think they get to a certain level and they have to drop it because, these people, they get to know all the key individuals and then they end up doing these little side projects for different individuals. And then before you know it, they do these things so they can become untouchable. And then if anything does happen to them, they think, oh, just shut up. It's just like with Epstein, and he got a little slap on the wrist there in Florida about 10 years ago. And I'm still surprised, even to this day. I'm still surprised that they dug him up and actually were going to do something with him in New York. I'm surprised they even touched him.
Well, from what I hear from, and you got to be, I'm trying to fix my mic, it keeps falling here. You got to be careful. Obviously, we all know that about what we hear on the web. But I hear that Harry Epstein, of course, I'm saying that wrong, is still alive. So,
Yeah, that I've heard that a lot too. I've heard that a lot.
and that very well
And
could be. I don't know.
right. Well, then, he also had some information last night about Obama too. And I don't know, have you seen much of any public appearances by him recently?
I try not to follow him. I didn't when he was in presidency. He made me want to vomit. Him and his husband Michael there, which I heard him say that in a speech one time. He goes, "Well, me and Michael, I mean Michelle." Michelle looked like a man for one thing, but I tried not to follow anything that was being said by that guy because I just couldn't stand to look at him. I couldn't stand to hear his lies. It was just, he was an infiltrator into our country. He's not an American citizen. I know he's not. So, but lately, the only thing that I've heard is that house that he bought that's just down from the White House, and that he was starting some kind of shadow government. That's basically all I've heard.
Yeah, and he just recently bought a house in Martha's Vineyard too. That's a more recent thing, about a month ago.
Why did he do that? He needed another house?
Because that's where all the rich and powerful hang out. That's why.
Uh, well, yeah, I don't know, but and just like Shad was talking about, I don't think that Trump is actually any different than the people right now, because I've seen pictures of him hanging out with all the same people, including Hillary, including Clinton, including all these people, or Bill. So I don't know. He's been seen at all the same spots that everybody else has. So how is he really any different if that's the people he hung around for most of his life?
Oh, most definitely, Amber. And people should investigate his father and his background. He's not here by a coincidence, and go back and listen to seeds being planted about him becoming the president of the United States, and even on the Oprah show. The seed has been planted. I mean, what does people think that the show The Apprentice was for? It was to show him being a businessman. So he was able to show the business part and then the political part. And deception is full force right now. And they are after souls. Satan is after to sift souls. We are living in the end of days. So it is point blank. Truth is out there for folks. In fact, Trump has Apollyon he had it painted on one of his ceilings at his penthouse. He has a Babylonian goddess's crotch on the side of his building. In fact, and look at Jared and the property and who his own son-in-law is involved with.
Right.
In fact, Trump is very good friends with one of the leaders of the Zionist Congress, and this guy is very good friend with Jacob Rothschild. There's nothing new under the sun. It's just like George Carlin said, and I know he was an atheist, but I hate to quote him, but it's a very small group. It really is. And we're not invited. I mean, it is the way that it is. They are not going to allow anybody to come in and try to change their plan. They're not.
No.
Trump, he would have been dead years ago. And if people watch the documentary on Donald Trump, there was a big-time banker, Jew, and he said that Donald Trump was worth more alive than dead. He's worth more alive than dead. These bankers came in and saved his casinos.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, and people bring in the mob. Well, Trump is full-fledged with the mob there in New York. So the truth is out there. Folks just have to dig for the truth. And they may not like what they hear because they want to go by the serpentry and the sugar that he spews out of his mouth. We are to know them by their fruit. So I just wanted to say that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's no doubt. He talks about draining the swamp. He's as in the swamp as you can get.
Yeah, I mean, he drained the swamp, but I mean, he filled it with a bottomless pit of vermin, vipers.
Oh, yeah.
Vermin vipers. I mean, it is total vipers. And they hate Christ. They blaspheme Christ. They hate God, period.
Right.
And any enemy of God is an enemy of ours. They hate us because they hate Christ. We were told this.
Right.
So people need to stop trying to put a tree air freshener around Trump's neck. It's a sewer pit.
Yeah.
And I said the same to the Democrats when they whored after Obama, thinking that Obama, that he was going to pop in and save them. So, but folks, they all wake up at their own time, and some will eventually wake up soon, because you have the parable of the last hour. Some of the workers do come in during the last hour.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of things that happen in the last hour. It's going to be quite a time to be around, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
It is.
but
And
my thing is right now, though, is why all the UN troops? Why is this happening? And basically, according to Dave Hodges and Steve Quayle, and I know that Alex Jones gets a little wonky, but he does bring a lot of truth out. I'm just asking why he is saying that it's possible around the 19th where we could be going into martial law because they're trying to overthrow America. Is this something that's true? I mean, there's no biblical proof to back that up, but it also says that things are going to get pretty bad and that this beast is going to rise out of the sea, which is out of the people, which is a political system, and they go so far and then back out of it. So that would have to entail the whole world, correct? I mean, America's not going to be safe from the system.
Right. I always try to get into the biblical side of things because that is what we should be working with. But these are other very interesting things that may or may not be happening at this time. And so it's important to pay attention to them just in case, there's something that surprises us.
Well, and I always stick with biblical prophecies, but my whole focus has always been, the Middle East and Jerusalem, because all end time prophecies center around Jerusalem. So we know this because God said this verbatim. But we also know from Revelations that the system doesn't quite come together because it receives a deadly wound, which it falls apart. People pull out of whatever deal they're making, and that's Lucifer's entrance. But leading up to that, the whole world has to be in this. They're going to make, in my opinion, they're going to try to make things bad and scare people and get people into this wanting, to accept a system and saying, fine, we'll give up our liberties, we'll give up our stuff, just save us.
Yeah.
And you have to think, save us from what? World War III?
Well, I think that's a tougher sell than it would be like from more extreme economic conditions myself, is what I think would be the way to go. Because one, you're not pointing a gun at anybody. And I think once you start pointing a gun at people, they're not as likely to be quite as cooperative, and I think you're just going to have nothing but chaos and civil war at that point, because there's people are heavily armed at this point. Very heavily armed.
Okay, and do you remember that's what Shad was saying? They know that America is heavily armed to the teeth. Oops, I'm sorry, I don't know why that just came on like that. So they have to be careful on what they do. And if you remember, he said that there was a fleet out in the Pacific Ocean and one somewhere else, and they're waiting until they're given order to do whatever they're going to do. Do you remember him talk, or were you here when he was talking about that?
I think I maybe missed part of that because I had to leave after a while. It was getting pretty late here, and my mom gets up very early in the morning, so I have to kind of go along with that. But yeah, it's going to be a tough situation again when you try to. I think when you try to force people into things, it's another thing. And of course, you always have to remember too, like in places like California, they probably lead the country in the most atheist state. And I think that it would be easier to get by with some of the things that they are, doing right now in California, like they are cutting off the power and all these kind of things, which makes you wonder how stable is their infrastructure out there if you have to cut off the power. It's kind of weird.
Well, I think there's something more behind the fact that they did that for. Something's just not right, and I'm trying to put my finger on it, and I'm listening to everybody. I'm like, and they're continuing this power outage, but yet as this is happening, there's reports of gangs that are being armed. The people that came across our border into our country are being armed. They're moving things in and out with trucks. And the only reason I would think that they would turn out power like that is because the less power and the less visualization people have, the less they know what's going on. You know, we have some reports from people calling
Of
in,
course.
but some of it, I don't think it's all being told. Something funky is happening on the West Coast.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt about that.
I mean, even down to the point where Canadians are calling in and they're saying that they're seeing Chinese blue helmets, which are the UN, entering in Canada. They're going actually all over the states. People are calling in, but mostly right now reports are on the West Coast. I haven't heard anybody in Washington say that or Oregon. I've heard it a lot with California, and that's where the power's out right now. I mean, are we next for
Right.
that? Are they going to try to they said Shad said it seems like they're in a rush to do this, which leads me back to the fact of the sixth Trump. Why are they in such a rush? And if you see, when they made this peace deal or this non-aggression deal between the Mideast and Rizrael, I'll call it Rizrael, I'm sure you can figure out what that means. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
ever since then, it's been like bam, 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 bam. All this stuff is happening like they're hurrying up. It's this rush to tear things down. And that's what seems like it's happening. But it's not like countrywide here. But starting with California, that's pretty big. And they've been prepped for this because it's a Democrat state. They're liberals. They've got Pelosi there. They've got all these people.
Yeah.
And it's kind of making sense. I just don't know how far they'll go with it. How far can you get when America is armed to the teeth? I don't know.
Well, yeah, because even if you bring in 1 million UN soldiers, that doesn't mean you're bringing in a million, well-trained snipers. These are just guys that are being told what to do, and they're also going to be outnumbered about 330 to 1. So those odds are not exactly they sound impressive, but those are not exactly good odds if you're on the UN side of that.
Right. Well, also, I've heard from Dave Hodges and our guest speaker last night that the military is going to be divided, like half going for America and half going with working with the UN and making this happen.
Right, and that's an interesting dynamic all unto itself, because, and then what about all the former people that were former military that decide, no, we're not going to put up with this, and they are actually well trained and can figure out, strategies to help combat things, and know what to do. Okay, they're going to move like this, and okay, let's jump them here, that kind of thing. So, oh yeah, you can come in and just destroy everything, but I don't think that's what they want to do, is destroy everything here in the United States. That'd be stupid.
Well, yeah.
I just don't see any real advantage to that.
Well, yeah, and we know that definitely from the Bible that it's gonna the information, like when Lucifer. Now this is at the 2.5 mark. Okay, we're not talking about the first 2.5 months. I don't know as far as they'll go in the first 2.5 months. I do know when Lucifer gets here, it's going to come through our rooftops, which is our TV, our internet. We will see his big time to shine. But previously to that, he's here for 2.5 months behind the scenes, causing issues, getting this set up. So a lot of people's communication in California has been taken down. They still have their cell phones. They still have phone lines. Yeah. But they don't have power right now. So it's making it difficult. So in the first 2.5 months, how far does it go to get to that point is where I'm speaking about, like Gulp says, as John stated, Satan needs a fully functional infrastructure to shine. That's at the midpoint. So what happens up until that point where they're trying to put this together, they're putting fear in people and all this kind of stuff, where do they stop at before he comes in to shine? You know what I'm saying? How far does it
Right.
go?
And well, I'll guarantee you that most of the people there in California aren't even thinking about this kind of thing in any manner, shape, or form. They're just going along with things. Oh, it looks like there's more Santa Ana, more fires. And first of all, what caused the fires? And then you got the Santa Ana winds, and all these fires always seem to pop up always when the Santa Ana winds happen. It's kind of crazy how those two always go together. And yet other times of the year you don't hear about a lot of fires out there, but this time you always do.
Right. And then another thing, though, too, is I haven't heard anything else about why those fires started. People reported that they heard a total of 11 explosions, and then they had fires. So what were these explosions when there was no power? Explosions of what?
I think that's another good point. Explosions of what? Were they terrorist based? Were they done by military? Were they just random events? It's hard to imagine 11 random events all happening at the same time.
Right. And nobody's reporting as to why, or I don't know if anybody's even questioning that, but people that are awake. It's like California's just like in doobie-doo land, like, oh, we have no power to do, they're worried more about their games and charging this and charging that, which I would be too, but there seems like there's a lot of biblical illiteracy unlearned going on there, that they think that this is something that's okay. Now, I haven't heard too much from people over there, and I'm not sure why or what really they're thinking or what's really going on. And I know that there was about, I think, 13 to 17,000 homes that have burned down, and there are 100,000 plus people that were fleeing from Los Angeles and were stuck on those highways because they were too congested. They couldn't get out. Well, what's happening to them now? I've heard nothing.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's a mess. There's no doubt about it. And it's so hard to get the information because any real information is usually suppressed. That would be, stuff that we want to hear, because they want to make sure that we don't find out what's going on. We have to kind of fill in the blanks there, which makes it real tough.
Well, and if you see, mainstream media is not saying a dang thing about it. I'll call my grandmother, tell her, look, this happened. She goes, well, I'm not seeing that on the news. I don't see that. I'm like, well, of course you don't. She goes, I said, it's fake news. She says, oh, well, I don't watch CNN. I watch Fox. I said, Fox is owned by the same people. It's no different. And they're not reporting on it either.
No. There's a lot of stuff that all those networks won't report on. And in fact, you can watch the Sunday morning shows tomorrow morning, and there might be a brief mention of the fires in California, but it'll be 3 plays and a punt. They're out in no time. Not much time is spent on it at all.
Right. So it's like they've been told not to report on it. I see Zoom has left. Hold on, guys. I don't understand why Zoom just booted everybody out, but I'm going to go ahead and go back into this and post the Zoom. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to get us back in there. But really, there's definitely something that is going on that the media isn't covering. We know that, and I actually haven't checked into Alex Jones, which I probably should have, to see what he's saying about all this. Sometimes it's a little hard to listen to him because he gets so worked up about things, although I can understand why he does that, because it's like our country is falling apart from within, and I really don't know how far this is going to go. And does it concern me? It does. Biblically, though, I'm like, I don't know about our country, because the Bible doesn't talk anything about that. It talks about, Israel. It talks about the Middle East. It talks about stuff like that. So I'm going to put in this code real quick. I'm going to have to actually pay for this, and I will do that shortly. So we can get John back on here. Okay, so well, yeah, Gulp. I think. I mean, he keeps saying he got offered quite a bit of money and he turned it down, and that he wasn't going to accept money to go to the dark side, but yet he's got so much money and he has all these, really expensive studios. He's got expensive equipment. I do know he sells stuff, and a lot of people buy his stuff. But it just makes me wonder, because he says that it costs like $30 million or something a year just to keep his show going the way that it does. And they were offering him like 10 or something million a year. And he said, oh no, I turned that down. I'm not going to go to the dark side. But then I've kind of always questioned that. So you have to be careful, as you all know, when you listen to any type of news, because we really don't know. But I do question it. Definitely question all of that. So,
I just got back into Zoom there. Who you were talking about there? I didn't catch the first part of that.
Gulp had said that question if Alex Jones is controlled opposition. And I've thought that before, because just sometimes the things that he says is kind of odd.
Yeah. Well, and I think Rush Limbaugh is controlled opposition too.
Yeah, because he may have gotten kicked off YouTube, but how, if he was saying such bad stuff that the government, that he's like, they don't want me to talk about this, he wouldn't be alive. If you think about it, look at JFK, look at things like that. I mean, they were literally taken out. So wouldn't they take him out just as well?
Right. Oh, quite easily. And if you listen to the Rush Limbaugh program, you'll never hear him mention the term Kenite or really say anything negative about Israel at any time.
Right.
He never will.
Right. And another thing too, they might not know honestly about what a Kenite is, because many people don't know. They're very unlearned. So they probably don't even know what a Kenite is, to be honest. Because if you listen to Alex Jones' religious belief, he doesn't talk about it too much, but he does. But he sounds like he might be a flyaway doctrine.
It's even worse.
Right. So I'm not too sure where he stands on that, but I do know that he does bring a lot of news forward and a lot of good news forward, but he also seems like he plays a lot of games too, so I don't know.
Well, they're also in the entertainment business. Even if you're in news, you're still in the entertainment business. You need to keep people glued to that TV set. And that they have to throw in things to kind of make the crowd get a little bit more rabid, a little bit more interested in what they're saying. So they have to know when to kind of push it, and they have to know when to kind of back off a little bit too. It's a crowd control thing. I had to do that all the time when I was performing live all the time. You try to get them all riled up, then you kind of bring them down. You rile them up, and you bring them down. You do that all the time.
All right. Well, I'm waiting for you to get everybody riled up, John. We need to get them interested so they stay.
So they stay, yes.
Thermal is asking, what is a Kenite? That's the seed line of Lucifer.
Okay, well, I can answer that. A Kenite are your sons of Cain. This goes all the way back to the garden. And you're not dealing with a literal apple here. Eve had sex with Satan. Now, before minds go very out the window on this one and say that is appalling, you have to remember those fallen angels came down and they married those daughters of men, and they had offspring called a Geber. So Cain, so there are two fathers in the garden. You have Adam, was the father of Abel, and Satan was the father of Cain. You had twins by two different fathers.
And the proof of that is that verse that God talks about when she continued in birth. That means there was another baby, and I believe that's Genesis chapter 3.
And also, too, from the medical standpoint, it is possible, if you ask your doctor, it is possible for a woman to have twins by two different fathers.
Correct.
In fact, just watch the Maury Show. It happens all the time. I mean, I'm being honest here. Just watch the Maury Show. It is something that is quite common, especially with the way that our society is.
Or like Pastor Murray said, if you're confused about it, go ask your doctor. They'll tell you it's possible that a woman can be pregnant with two men's sperm at the same time. It's just two eggs that got fertilized one by the other, which means she had sex with both of them at the same, it's touchy subject, but yeah. Her
eating the fruit is in a sexual context. Okay, but then you also have those that have spiritually taken the way of Cain, as Jude, as in the book of Jude. That doesn't mean that they are actually Satan's spawn. And just because that they are Satan's spawn, not the ones that have spiritually taken the way of Cain, folks automatically think that salvation wouldn't apply to them. Oh, it most definitely does. God is not a liar. Anybody born through the womb of woman has a chance at salvation. It's just their father is not our father. So their thoughts are more evil than ours. So the chance of a Kenite giving their life over to Christ is very slim. But if anybody watches Pastor Murray, he can give an account of an actual one that has repented. Christ, he supersedes all. I just wanted to get that in there because there are many folks that are so offended by this, So, but yes, you had the Geber, the spawn of the fallen angels, and you have the Kenites that are the spawn of Satan. Very good. I'll shut up now.
No, that's really good. And there's quite a few studies where you can go in that the Kenites, the seed line of Lucifer, are most of your people that are, actually, it's all of your people that are east of the river Euphrates. I mean, there's probably some there's good figs and there's bad figs mixed in, but east of the Euphrates are your kings of the east, which are your Kenites, and they are marching. You can see it right now. And this big deal.
Yeah, but I also want to say, but some of them do make up where they say that they are Jews, but they do lie, but they are of the synagogues of Satan. They control the 4 hidden horns or powers of this world. That is political, religious, education, and economics.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
okay,
the system.
I will shut up now and I will let you continue.
No, keep going, because that's the dynasties that they use to bring in this system, because they've brainwashed everybody. Whoa, what was that?
Yeah. Sorry, I accidentally hit unmute on my computer here. I'm sorry, accidentally. I went to go turn it down, but when I go turn down the volume, you heard praise in the background. Sorry.
And yes, there is Dave Hodges, Steve Quayle, God, I can't remember what that Mike guy's name is, and it just kills me. Alex Jones is saying the same thing. You also have, let me get my subscription here. Let me see. I think it's called Israel News Live. Now, you have to be careful of his religious beliefs, but he talks a lot about some of the stuff. Full Spectrum Survival, Al Jazeera News, Go News. Trying to also, I think it's the Real BP Earth Watch. You also have Truth Notification Matters. You also have, and you have to be careful of religious views with this one, but I think it's called Shofar Ministries. That's spelled Shofar Ministries. You just got to be careful, especially if you're not learned and you don't have the truth. You can be led astray. True News is also one of the ones out there that talk about a lot of this stuff. So you just have to use discernment when you are going along with some of their stuff. But even Paul Begley, his news is phenomenal. Although he doesn't understand biblically how it's connecting, he's making stuff up. And I'm not going to go into talking about other preachers because our pastors told us not to do that. But I just want to warn you that if you don't have the knowledge, you're going to be led astray. And led astray by those preachers and those pastors that are leading you into Lucifer's hands because they tell you you're going to fly away, which is not true. That's Lucifer's message to you. He'll be coming here saying that because he comes before Christ, and he'll be telling you he's here to fly you away. He'll be telling you, come on, jump in my wagon, let's go, I'm here to save you. And it's going to look like it because he doesn't have horns and a tail, and he's not all ugly. In fact, he was the most beautiful angel God created, and he's going to have magic coming from his hands and lightning from the sky, and boy, look at me. But it's the fake. So you just have to really be careful on what you're listening to and use discernment. Lost audio. Do we have audio, guys?
Yeah, I can hear you. It might be some buffering, but it probably is.
Let me... Yeah, I hear it. It just buffers every, little bit. But I definitely hear the audio in there. So if anybody's having problems with their audio, just refresh the YouTube channel, get out of it and come back in, or just push refresh and it should fix that for you. But another thing I wanted to talk about, if anybody's had a chance to look into the troops that are being sent over into Saudi Arabia, I'm hearing it's in the thousands now. And I actually had, which I can pull up here, some news articles that I found quite interesting, actually.
And when you're done, I was going to send you a tweet that Donald Trump made that you would find it really interesting.
Well,
because you know how you're on to like all the agreements being made, you know, that we were talking about, and we were trying to figure everything out. But you are on it.
Well, what did
so
he
let
say?
me read you. And I meant to send it, but then I got off. I kept talking about something else, like my brain went to something else. Oh, okay. So he posted it at 4:20 p.m. and it says the endless wars must end. That's what he said. So isn't that kind of like him being a hypocrite there? That's an interesting comment. The endless wars must end. Is he crying out for peace? I don't know.
Well, why would he be saying the endless wars must end when he's sending thousands of troops to Saudi Arabia because Saudi Arabia decided that they were going to agree to pay for our troops? Because Trump always tooted,
Right.
well, you want us to be the world police, yet you're not paying us. So I'm pulling out, and I think Saudi Arabia was like, "Oh crap! He just pulled our troops out of Syria. We better talk about this because we're feeling a little vulnerable
Exactly.
here." And then decided to pay for it.
Exactly.
But then why would he agree to something like that if he wants the endless wars to stop? That makes no sense. But nothing actually.
It doesn't. And he's the one that is really ramping up the trade wars too. So either way, no matter how you cut the mustard, it makes zero sense.
Right. And another thing, though, too, is I thought today, and I can actually go in and look at that today. Like I said, I was really analyzing what was said in last night's show, and I was really debating today whether to make that public, not make that public. But
the video.
Yeah, I was really kind of concerned over that today, and I thought, forget it, I'm just going to let it go. I'm going to publicize it, and whatever happens, happens. And as I was listening to it, nothing he said was, it was all declassified information. It wasn't anything that somebody shouldn't know.
Exactly.
Or can't go find out for themselves. Apparently, Mayor Maher announced Hillary's presidential candidacy. She's trying to go for president again. That almost makes me want to vomit.
It does, but see, she's going to make a lot of money off of this. They make a lot of money by doing these things.
Well, and then apparently China and the United States today just called a trade truce. Global celebrated.
I wonder what that means for Iran.
Well, I just find that kind of funny because just yesterday or day before, he canceled the Long Beach port lease on China, and now all of a sudden today they have a trade truce. That doesn't make any sense.
Right? No, it doesn't. Makes zero sense.
I wonder if I'd be able to play this so we can find out why we have, or how we have an agreement here. That was weird. And it says something about global celebrated. Global what? It's phase 1. U.S. and Beijing agreed to limit measures to improve trade ties between the countries. I know he's putting a lot of economic pressure on everybody, so I'm not too sure what kind of trade truce they can come to unless he's figuring on taking the economic stronghold off of them and reducing those tariffs. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he'd do something like that or not. That would definitely, I mean, if we're going to go into a quote unquote, one world system that's supposed to be peaceful, I guess everybody would have to start making those types of agreements, right?
They'd have to.
Let me see. Let's play this and see what's going on here.
United States President Donald Trump said the United States and China have reached what he called a substantial Phase 1 deal in which Beijing agreed to limited measures to improve trade ties between the countries.
New York has requested and the President has approved. While we go through a process of documenting this, we will not be implementing the increase of tariffs that were scheduled to go in place from 25 to 30%.
The ones that were supposed to go into place on Tuesday next week.
That's correct. That's correct. Those will be deferred while we...
In exchange, Trump will not move forward with another round of tariff increases against roughly $250 billion in Chinese goods that had been set to take effect on Tuesday. The announcement indicates an easing of trade tensions between the world's two largest economies after several political and economic actions increased pressure in recent days, including the Trump administration blacklisting several Chinese firms from doing business with U.S. companies. In the Oval Office meeting Friday afternoon with Chinese Vice Premier Liu He, Trump said the provisional deal would take another 3 weeks to write and would be concluded around mid-November. The tentative agreement, however, falls short of a broader deal addressing the most significant U.S. concerns over China's state-run economy that sparked the trade fight.
I think that we're going to have a deal that's a great deal, that's beyond tariffs. This is a deal that's a very important deal for China, very important deal for the world, very important deal for the United States. I think this is a deal that's beyond tariffs. I really mean that. I think that world peace... there was a lot of friction between the United States and China. And now it's a love fest. That's a good thing. But that's good for China and it's good for us, but it's good for the world. The Vice Premier said the same thing. And he said it better than anybody could have said it. He said this is a great thing for the world. He didn't say China or us. He said this is a great thing for the world. And he's absolutely right. Perhaps you'd like to comment on that.
I totally agree with you. It's good for China. It's good for U.S. But it's good, also good for the whole world.
The whole world is watching.
Yes, whole world is watching.
And it is amazing, and I said...
Not only a peace issue,
Yes.
but not only a trade issue. It provides peace and prosperity and development for the whole world. I think it's very, very important.
It's a peace and prosperity for the whole world. So it's beyond it.
Oh boy, did you hear that?
That kind of faded out the last second there.
It said this is peace and prosperity for the whole world.
That's interesting.
And that brings me back again to the fact that everybody seems to be in this rush right now politically to peace and prosperity. Whoever that guy is in Beijing was sitting there with them, and he said, yes, this is a good thing. This is bringing peace and prosperity to the world. So that's huge. And it's all of a sudden coming all together so fast in the last week. So I don't know. Olive, did you hear that? Olive, are you there?
I did. I'm sorry. I was making eggs in the background.
Oh.
I didn't want you to hear. I'm thinking like the house is burning down or something. It may smell like it, but it's not burning down. I promise. I mean, this is big stuff. This is really big stuff.
Did you hear him
really
say
is.
it brings peace and prosperity to the world?
That's a new one. Peace and prosperity to the world. That is a new one. That's a big statement there. That's a big one.
It seems like to me, and we know from what chap, my mind just drew a blank, but when they show cry peace, 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 and everybody's talking about peace, prosperity, you know, I have a feeling shortly here we're going to see a disarmament of like the world. It seems like that's where it's heading to.
It really is. And you're paying attention to this Middle East agreement. And we all can agree, which, I mean, well, we may not all agree, but I know that you and I do, and probably John, that the peace plan that they have going on right now in the Middle East is Jared's.
Yeah.
That is definitely his.
Right, but have you noticed...
But they haven't announced it yet.
Well, have you noticed ever since they sat at the table and said that they were discussing it, I haven't heard or seen anything since. I've seen things happen in the Middle East, but I haven't heard any more on the peace deal. It's like all mum's the word. It's just quiet. Well, I know they didn't stop talking about it. I know they didn't stop doing things, but they're just not talking about it. Why is that?
That's right. It's like mum's the word. Mum's the word.
Well, it seems to be more action than it is talking, and I believe that's because they're going to cause such chaos that it's going to, and I believe that involves Turkey, and I believe it involves what's happening right now, because I think they're going to cause so much chaos that it's going to scare people into taking that deal. I mean, that's what I see playing out on the field right now. I'm you know, this is my opinion, but as I'm watching
it's
this,
a good one. It's a good one.
Yeah.
They are playing this out right now, and what would get all of those countries surrounding Israel to cry for peace? Well, that's going to have to be something pretty traumatic for that to happen, because you guys know as well as I do, they have never fucking agreed on anything. They are just, since the dawn of time, these people argue and kill and fight and have wars, and this is just the way that they are. So everybody to all of a sudden sit down and, okay, we need to do something. Okay, let's have peace. Oh, peace and prosperity. And now all of a sudden Beijing is like, okay, yes, we're going to have peace and security for the whole world.
That's good. That's so good. That was so good.
Did you ever think that was going to be possible? They've been arguing for freaking ever, and now all of a sudden Trump's like, oh, well, we're not going to impose the 30 to 35% increase because we're actually coming to a deal. This is phase 1, world, peace, and security. And then you got the little Chinaman back there. Oh, yes, it's so good for you. This is weird. This is like, take your medicine, folks. Here you go. Buy the spoonful.
That was so good. It just made me want to stick my hand out to have my nails done. I'm totally joking. That was a terrible joke. I'm sorry.
That was funny, though. But yeah.
Very good. You go on. That was a terrible joke. Bad timing. I'm so sorry.
But that was funny. Oh, no, you like. I'm like, no, I don't like blue. Oh, no, it's good for you. No, I really wanted red. Oh, no, blue will match your We're not racist here, and we don't hate anybody. Just get over yourself and don't take offense to stuff. That's why they're called jokes. So if you have a sensitive, I'm not going to be politically correct. I don't hold my tongue. If you don't like it, get out of my room. And if you do laugh, that's great, but nothing's meant by anything. So don't go there. I just had to say that because you got people that are like, oh my God, she said that. Oh my God, let's call the PC police. Oh. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Anyways, back to the matter.
That was so good. Now I want to say, Becky, is that you?
Bye, Felicia.
So good. Boy, you really do like these good voice things. You're so good at it.
Well, I just heard him, and it was like you heard this. I didn't see him in the video, but you can hear this tiny little Chinaman back there, and it looked like he was the way Trump looked at him in that video was almost like, you better say this or I'm going to finish killing off your country. You've got no choice. Maybe like he said, they drugged him in some back room with some prostitute and's got pictures of him now doing bad things, and he's like, either you do
Makes
this
you wonder,
yeah, it does, because all of a sudden he's like,
wonder, it does.
He's like Trump's puppet now. That's freaking weird.
Yeah.
What the frick?
Like his little B word. Yeah, what the crap?
His little bongo, right? It's weird. And, and Trump's just sitting here looking at him like,
Pina colada.
He's looking at him like, say it or die. Say it or die. It's just weird. And weird. But that's why I'm going back to the 6th Trump thing. Why is this happening if this isn't what's happening? If you catch the flow, it is. How is this happening? And when Pastor Murray said, when you shall hear wars and rumors of wars, know the time is not yet. But when you shall see and hear wars and rumors of wars, and at the same time they're talking about peace, get your head out of the sand. Lucifer's on the way. He said that verbatim. And as I'm watching all this shit unfold, you've got all these things happening over in the Middle East. They're going to make people cry for peace because they're going to... Look how many people Turkey's already killing in Syria. And they've moved forward and they are not stopping. I just looked. They're continuing forward. Why is that? Because they're continuing towards Jerusalem. And others are going to follow. The kings of the east over the river Euphrates are going to head to Jerusalem. They're going to make things so freaking intense over there that everybody's going to cry out for peace. They don't care what they're going to take from them, what they're going to do. Just please save us. Peace, peace, peace. It's happening. I don't know. And maybe I'm on the wacky tobacco. I don't know. And I'm not, you guys. I smoke tobacco. But I'm just saying, I don't drink either, just to let you know. I'm
going to say this now since your mic is on. You are sober and you are vigilant.
Right. Right.
No, you are. You don't do none of that crap.
The only beer I've had today is called Diet Barks Root Beer, and it's very tasty. The diet sucks, but it's better than water. No, well, not better, but it tastes better. And I have a cigarette. I've had orange slices and taco salad. That's it today, folks. That's it. So, and after sometimes I do these shows, I feel I need a beer. But I'll let you know if I do. But
very good.
Oh, so here we go. The meeting will end. Why is it? The meeting will end in 10 minutes. Lovely. For a while there, this Zoom thing was free, but now it's like every 40 minutes, it'll cut off and you have to restart it again.
That's why I was hoping in Discord we could go in there, but it didn't work, right?
Well,
it didn't work good.
We can try it again and just see what happens.
Do you know how to add a Discord into your thing there?
Yeah, I'll share.
You would add it just like you would Zoom.
So for people,
when you go to Carmen, just give it a moment. Just tell them just to wait and give it a moment when everything goes silent.
Okay, so I'm.
Are we out? Okay.
I'm connected into the Zoom thing.
Did John leave? Is John in Zoom?
No.
I mean, gosh, is John in Discord?
No, he left. Or maybe.
Did he have to go?
I don't know, but I'm gonna shut off this Zoom thing and let's see if we can. Huh?
It's working because we're echoing.
Okay, can you? I don't hear you. All of your mute says it. Mute. Your mute mics. Can't talk. Can you hear me? Olive, can you hear me? It doesn't seem like I can hear you at all. So apparently that's not working. So I'm going to have to go back into Zoom, you guys, because this isn't working.
Hello?
Oh, are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. So does that... Can you guys hear us?
Can you hear me now?
I hear you.
I wonder why I have... Can you hear me? My goodness, like two hillbillies trying to communicate.
I know, right?
So funny.
Did you see my smoke signal? I sent you a smoke signal.
Oh my goodness, that is so funny. Or it's like a really bad Sprint commercial.
Right. Do you have map in your soup? What is that?
Sorry, it's a bag of chips. Just hold on a minute, okay?
I keep hearing a beeping. Okay. Okay, they can hear us. When Olive finished opening up her chips, maybe you can say something, Olive, and see if they can hear you.
Okay. Testing. Testing 1, 2, 3. Let's see if they can hear that.
John, we're in Discord. And anybody actually can join Discord if you want.
Yeah, I was wondering where John went. I was hoping that everything was okay.
I'm going to put... Well... This is harder on my end because I'm using multiple platforms so I don't take up my bandwidth. They said that Amber and Olive's voices are hard to differentiate. Differentiate? I can't even talk.
Yeah. Well, that is just because it is hillbilly talk. That's exactly why.
That's because
it is serious.
We're related.
Hillbilly talk. We are. I know we are. Somewhere, some way. One of our family members got together.
In the woodpile.
And I just know it. In the woodpile. I know it.
Okay. Paste. Anybody, there is... I'm hoping that went through. There is our Discord. If anybody in the chat... that's in here tonight would like to go
and come on in.
Yeah.
Come on in.
Follow this link. Everybody in the chat, you can come in, you can talk with us, you can ask questions. Just click on that Discord link below, join in, and you're more than welcome to come into the party. Party hardy. You can talk to us. You can speak out your own feelings, ask questions live. We're going to try this out and see how it goes. So if you all want to join in here, come on in.
I'm finally back in.
How does the sound through Discord?
There you are, John. Where did you go? Because when I went to leave Zoom, it said that you were gone.
Yeah, my computer locked up on me. I haven't restarted in about a week, so it locked up on me.
Oh, there you go.
I had to restart the computer and get everything back up, get on my VPN and all that, so it took a few minutes.
There's Jeffrey.
Very good.
Jeffrey has joined.
Who's somebody in here?
Yes, Jeffrey joined.
I don't know who that is. It said that he just slid into the server. It's funny.
Came in on a slip and slide. Daniel says all hillbillies are cousins.
You know, Daniel, I am TBH to accept that. So you can turn around. I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. I'm totally joking. And the chips are lightly salted chips. Gotta kind of stay healthy there.
I'm hungry right now. Definitely.
I know, so was I. Because I didn't really eat a dinner, and so I was thinking of eggs, man. They were just winking.
They winked at you, huh?
It did. It did.
So, that's funny.
I had a glamorous meal of ramen noodles.
Oh, there you go. Did you put some Tabasco sauce with the ramen, John?
No, I didn't. I don't think we have any Tabasco sauce.
You should try that, man. That is so good.
We're a Viking, so most of our food is pretty bland around here.
Very good. Very good.
So I see Jeffrey in here, but I don't see that Jeffrey can, I don't know. Oh, Jeffrey, you got to go down to the voice channel under General and join, right?
I don't know who that is, though. Do you know who that is, Amber?
I don't. But I can...
Jeffrey, what is your name on the chat?
Well, I have the power to mute anybody that gets crazy, so...
I'll try not to get too crazy then.
Right. What is don't be the BH? Don't be TBH. What's that?
I have no idea.
Well, when Praise was on, Daniel asked, what does GBY mean? It means God bless you. And then I said, well, I was trying to tell him, don't feel bad because I don't know what TBH means, right? And people use it all the time, and they have told me over and over, but I keep forgetting. And he said it means to butthurt. So, but that's not what it means, but I mean, it means it now. It has taken over whatever it was meant to be. It is now to butthurt.
Apparently, Top Ramen gives Ashley gas.
Well, very good, Ashley. Just let it go. Just let the wind blow. Don't be TBH about it. Just let it go. That's so funny.
That is pretty funny. So I'm guessing that not too many people want to join in, so that could be good or bad, because sometimes you can get some pretty crazy stuff said. But if anybody does want to join in, please look at the Discord link above. We also have chats going on here in Discord. So if you guys want to join in on this Discord chat, click that app. You can actually go back and forth between YouTube. I almost said U-Haul, YouTube and Discord, but we are in here in Discord, and there is other chats going on if you guys want to jump in and check that out also, where I will also be posting other things into Discord that I can't put on YouTube, because I feel that right now with that video I put out last night, I'm under a microscope. We are under a microscope, and I want to be really careful about what I do. So I know.
Yeah, so we'll lay low for a while.
Yeah.
We need to go to our hideout for a while. Our secret hideout.
Yeah, that's Discord. For now. So, yeah. So, again, you guys, come on and join us in Discord. I would suggest that you do that so you can catch things that aren't usually posted onto YouTube, because they don't allow it. So go ahead and join that link for Discord and come in here with us. There should be like 10 of you in here right now. So come on over. Come on, guys. Click the link. Click it. Come on. Go ahead. Push it. Come on. Guess that ain't working. Okay. So anyways.
Have you ever seen the old Mervyn from commercials where there's a lady that's standing outside of a door and she's saying, open, 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 open. Have you ever seen those? I remember that as a child. I do. That's one commercial that has always stood out, was the Mervyn's one. That is so funny. That's what it seriously sounded like. Open, open, open. Come on in. We are open, open, open. I'm sorry.
Right. Well, that's what I'm trying to get across, but yet only Jeffrey opened the door, so Jeffrey's the only one that's...
well, that is awesome. And he says he's going to get a mic and a webcam soon, so that means that we will not only be able to talk to him, we'll get to see him.
Yeah, I'm not going to go on a webcam.
I don't have any either.
Yeah, I've been doing my thing on
John, you can go on a webcam.
I know I can.
I could, but I don't want to.
Yeah, John. Yeah, John is awesome.
Maybe I'll go get
But yes, you could.
I'll go get a costume, and I'll go on webcam in my costume. I'm looking up here on the Jerusalem Post to see if there's anything we've missed here. Looks like the Turkey's really on a roll over there, boy. They're really killing people over there, and that is really sad. I'm not going to really... There's too many keywords in this post to be able to really talk about it, but it looks like they are really on a march here, and I find it horrifying, to be honest with you. And
it is, yeah, it's serious stuff.
And then it says here that earlier today, there were 2 more unidentified aircrafts that are attacking Ryan on the border of Ryak and Riria. Does that make sense? I'm sure you guys can figure out what I said there. So those unidentified flying crafts are attacking again. Why are they so unidentified, and why can't they figure out who it is?
That's right. And I liked John's answer that he gave about this last night. John, can you repeat that? Do you remember what you said about that? To me, that was very good.
Well, I'm having a tough time remembering that. It was so late last night. I was barely awake.
That you said that it could be so top secret that they may not want to identify it, but you said it in a way better way.
I'm trying to remember here. I can't remember it right now. I just can't.
It was so good. Yeah, it was so good that you said that they probably definitely know what they are, but it's just so top secret that they probably don't want to say, so they would rather label it as unidentified. I mean, that's not verbatim, but it was something along those lines, and it was said so well.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, well, sometimes, there's, like we were talking about last night, there are so many things that seem to be just lining up all at the same time. And everyone, no matter where you look, everyone is expecting something big to be occurring, and big soon. And I think that's what we're going to see here. And I think they've got a good idea because, one, a lot of worldwide economies are just hanging on by a thread right now. And I think they want to have everything in place before everything collapses. And then everything's ready for, Pretty Boy Floyd, and then he can do his little routine because he's the only person that's going to unite everybody behind this. I mean, there's nobody else that can do that job. So it's going to be an interesting time, but I think they're going to get as much stuff done right now as they possibly can. I think the pressure is really on. I have to admit, I'm quite impressed with what they've been able to do behind the scenes and make it work. Because, I mean, they're trying to drive down the price of precious metals. They're trying to prop up the stock market. They're trying to control the interest rates. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that they're trying to do that, quite honestly, I don't know how they have the resources to do all this at the same time.
Most definitely. Yes, most definitely.
Well,
I mean, they've got to be throwing everybody. They must be getting about 2 hours of sleep a night to be able to pull this off.
well,
Yeah, you would definitely think so.
this is just hot off the press, and this just kind of threw me back in my seat. Iran offers to mediate between Syrian Kurds and Turkey. Iran's call came on the fourth day of Turkey's offensive against the Syrian Kurdish, which Ankara regards as a terrorist group with links to the PKK. Iran offered on Saturday to engage Syrian Kurds, Syria's government, and Turkey in talks to establish security along the Turkish-Syrian border following Turkey's military incursion into the northern Syria to fight the Kurdish forces. In the making the mediation offer, Iranian Mohammad Javad Zarif referred to a 21-year-old security accord that required Damascus to stop harboring Kurdistan Workers' Party (PKK) militants waged an insurgency against the Turkish state. Turkey has said that pact was never implemented. The agreement between Turkey and Syria is still valid. Can there be a better path to achieving security and peace? Iran can help bring together the Syrian Kurds, the Syrian government, and Turkey so that the Syrian army together with Turkey can guard the border. What? He said in a tweet which carried part of an interview he did with the Turkish public broadcaster. The United States has ramped up its efforts to persuade Ankara to halt the incursion, saying Ankara was causing great harm to ties and could face sanctions. Wow, I don't know what to say about that. Is anybody here?
I am here. I was trying to see how it sounded as you were talking to see if it was going to cut in and out because Mitchell said the audio keeps on cutting in and out. What server are you using?
Okay, so
And all I know that
it's not really a server thing. It's I think the satellite connection that you have, because that's buffering is what's happening.
well,
I can tell that.
Zoom doesn't do that to me, so I'm gonna go open up a Zoom because I don't get that when I'm in Zoom.
Isn't that weird? That's so weird. I wonder why this is happening in Discord.
Yeah, because I have no problem hearing you, Olive Branch, at all. You're coming in strong and clear.
Strong and clear. Yeah, that's so funny. I mean, I could seriously call in the boats on a foggy day.
Yeah, you got a voice that carries about 5 miles.
Most definitely, it's true.
My voice doesn't carry 5 feet.
That is really weird. Here, use this one. Can you make me two? Yeah. I don't know, because I can actually be more, and I'll go ahead and I'll repost this. I'll reread this thing just in case you guys didn't hear me. Zoom seems to work better for me. I don't know why. So I'm going to go ahead and post this link. Hold on, guys. And then I'm going to reread what I said since you guys couldn't hear me. So, hold on while... Well, that's possible, Thermal. I'm not too sure, actually, because I'm not too sure, but I just find it kind of odd that all of a sudden Iran, I guess I shouldn't have said that, Ryan, wanting to... Oh, wait a minute. Okay. I can kind of see how that could be going, because they want the same thing as Turkey does. They want to take Israel out. They want to wipe them off the map. So that would make sense as to why Ryan is getting involved in it, because I bet that they're going to make some type of agreement or something. It's just, it takes me a little bit to try to piece all this together, and I just read that. And I just find it strange that Iran would want to involve themselves into mediating for Turkey and Syria when Iran is the one that's causing most of this crap. So I'm not sure how that turn of events happened. But wow, that's very strange. And I'm glad, okay, now they can hear me, so I'm just having a problem with Discord.
Is this an article from Jerusalem Post?
Let me go look. Yes, it is.
Okay.
And it was actually today.
Okay, I am here.
Hi. Everybody says they can hear me now, so I'm just having a problem with Discord. I don't know why.
That is the strangest thing. I have no why either. John must be right. It must be the internet.
Or they're just not getting enough, because like our voices are carrying fine on that, but it's just Amber that's having the problem.
Yeah.
I always have the problem.
Okay, Amber, you got the floor, so you go on ahead and repeat it.
Do they want me? You guys want me to reread that again, or?
Yeah, because I want to hear it.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, Iran's call. Okay, Iran offers to mediate between Syrian Kurds and Turkey, which this stands out very weird to me, okay? Iran's call came on the fourth day of Turkey's offensive against the Syrian Kurdish, which Ankara regards as a terrorist group with the links to PKK. Iran offered on Saturday to engage Syrian Kurds, Syria's government, and Turkey in talks to establish security along the Turkish-Syrian border following Turkey's military incursion into the northern Syria to fight Kurdish forces. In making the mediation offer, Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif referred to a 21-year-old security accord that required Damascus to stop harboring Kurdistan workers. Waged an insurgency against the Turkish state. Turkey has said that the pact was never implemented. The agreement between Turkey and Syria, still valid, can be the better path to achieving security That's peace and security, Zarif said. Iran can help bring together the Syrian Kurds and the Syrian government in Turkey so that the Syrian army together with Turkey can guard the border, he said in a tweet which carried out part of an interview he did with the Turkish public broadcaster. The United States has ramped up its efforts to persuade Ankara to halt the incursion, saying Ankara was causing great harm to ties and they could face sanctions. Turkish foreign minister said on Thursday the 1998 accord could only be implemented if there was a political settlement to Syria's 8-year-old war. He also said implementing the Adana Pact would require the Syrian government to be in control of the northeastern Syria, which it is not. Iran, a close ally of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad, has regularly urged Turkey to respect Syria's territorial integrity and avoid military action in northeastern Syria. Damascus said it is committed to the Adana Accord. But why is all of a sudden Iran so interested in being a mediator for somebody going and killing people? Because this is mostly Iran's fault to begin with. They're the ones who have sent out their militias and all their bullcrap to cause an uprising in the Middle East and threatening to wipe Jerusalem off the map, and now all of a sudden they want to go be the peace talker between these two? That doesn't make sense.
Well, they're trying to show their authority. They're trying to show their authority there. They want to be the big player. That's what they're trying to do.
Oh, Iran?
I think so too, but I think that this answers my question about Assad. I was wondering if Assad has entered in, and he might not have, because because he was being so quiet there for a while, and I didn't know what was going on with Assad, or Iran is starting to call bluffs, and they're doing like what John is saying. I mean, this is like one big show right now.
Right. But
and I think John has a lot right there that maybe Iran is trying to show their authority.
No, I think it goes deeper than that, because if you recall, a week ago, Saudi Arabia and Iran had a talk. The U.S. said if they do an agreement that doesn't work with the United States, that the United States was going to sanction Saudi Arabia just like they did Iran. I have a feeling, and this is supposition only, I'm going to come back tomorrow, because it takes me, Olive, as you know, a cup of coffee, and I sit there and I have to think for a minute. So,
yeah.
But I think it has something to do with an agreement that was made, and now Iran is on the table.
There you go. And I totally agree there.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to figure out what is going on with Assad. That's what I've been trying to figure out all along.
They're the next
because they're the next one. So then that answers my question. Assad has never entered in then. He's never entered in.
He's about to.
And that might be what he is about to. So then that means that Iran has already been broken. They already have.
I think so.
Because
there's been some agreement that has been made. We have Saudi Arabia, Iran, some of the EAU, and now they're going to get Turkey and Syria on board with this agreement. Now, see, this is all going biblically, because we know that there will be some type of peace deal that is going to be in the making to bring this system together, but they're going to go so far with it, and then nations will start pulling out of this agreement, and it falls apart, causing a deadly wound. They're not telling you that, okay, yes, today Iran signed on to it, and yes, okay, they're not being upfront with us at all. It's just happening. You can see it happening, and now the next target, because of all this crap, the reason why Trump pulled out those troops is to get it in action. If he had the troops there, this wouldn't have happened. This massacre wouldn't be happening, and people wouldn't be going, okay, we're ready to talk. See what I mean? They're causing the problems to get people to cry for peace and to accept whatever the hell agreement is going on. Now, I may be off my rocker. I always say that.
And that's exactly right. No, you're not. But you and John are both right, because by Iran speaking out in this fashion, that's a bold statement. That is Iran officially announcing that they have entered in. They have agreed to the agreement. Now they are part of the system. Now the next one is Syria. But I could be wrong on that. Maybe they're trying, this Iran guy's trying to be like a trickster and confuse them. I don't know. But if Iran is now on their side, if they really are, that means that they have entered into this system.
They're on the side possibly momentarily. Something is going to happen, as we know, that everybody's going to be like, screw this. But you can see those chess pieces moving around. You can see who's next to sign on. It's going to be Turkey and Syria.
Yeah, that's what they're working on. But see now, Turkey, I think that they have already signed on. I do, because they're so in bed with Russia, and we have so many agreements with them. They go to and fro too, just like Putin does. They go to and fro too. So you have to watch them, and you have to watch, Putin. You have to watch them both, because they are like snakes.
Well, do you know why they're going to and fro? Because Lucifer's going to and fro.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly right. And things have changed.
Even Netanyahu said that things... Remember yesterday I read that message of his? He said, I will have to say that things are changing. And somebody made a comment, let me see, up here, I was going to respond to it, saying that I may be way behind the learning curve, but I was under the impression Israel causes all the problems. They cause a lot of problems, but it's not just Israel, it's the Middle East is a problem.
Yeah, no, yeah, but Israel's the big whore. I mean, they're the big whore. Right. So, I mean, they're a part of the big whore. Yeah, I mean, they're definitely a part of the big whore, but they are definitely a whore. I mean, and I'm speaking of a spiritual whore, and he's right. Or she, I'm so sorry, because every time I say she, it's a he, and every time I say he, it is a she, so I'm so sorry. Thermal is right, though, because Israel is calling a lot of the shots, but see, things have changed now. They have changed. They have definitely changed. And because it's the Kenites, it's these Jews, that's the small group of people that Satan enters in with. And so that, and John, St. John says that it's the political beast that gives power over to the religious beast. So what is going on right now, and this is where you are absolutely right, Amber, they are all making this agreement. They are all signing in on. But then we have to get that wound, which I mean is like basically right there. Exactly.
Right.
So, and that means that when the wound happens, that Lucifer is here. So these are interesting things.
Or
These
has
are
been
really
here. Has been
interesting
here.
things.
When the wound happens, Lucifer has already been here for the first 2.5. He was already in here going to and fro, meddling around.
Exactly. And now Trump is saying that we must stop these wars. That is a statement of peace. That is a statement of peace. That is change. Trump doesn't really give statements of peace. He doesn't speak on those levels.
And with China,
I mean, it is all combative.
And with China, he just said this is for global, and that little Chinaman, good for you, good for us, good for world. It is world peace.
Yeah.
Well, if you kind of look at it with Satan being around at this time, if he's here at this time, which he could be for all we know.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, either he's close to being here or else he already is here, one of the two. So if he is here, this would also explain why a country like Iran would also just kind of jump on board, because we know how persuasive he can be. So whatever he's offering them, or at least to the top leaders, is probably an attractive enough package that they would want to go along with this thing.
Oh, hell yeah. That's the only way that this could happen, in my opinion.
Yeah, right. He's offering everybody a sugar daddy deal, and they're all taking it. They don't care about the rest of their population, but the leaders of these countries are getting the sugar daddy deal somehow.
There you go.
And that's why, man, my brain here is going carbuncle, because that really threw a wrench into the system here. What I just heard Trump and the China guy say, and then hear that Iran is now involved in being a peace mediator. Because I thought a minute ago we were basically trying to snuff them out if they didn't follow along, and we needed somebody to mediate. The UK was like, well, we'll mediate between you and the United States, and Trump's like, fuck that, I don't give a shit, I'm not talking nothing to them, I'm going to sanction them more. And now all of a sudden that's over with, and now they're the peace mediator? That changed quick like. And now you've got Mr. Benji Netanyahu. Oh, they say there's no audio.
And, but it seemed like Thermal and Gulp were hearing us, and Ashley was saying it was cutting in and out. Yeah, audio is off most as much as it is on. There, can you hear you?
Well, I have the show on and I can hear it on my phone. Because I thought a minute ago we were basically... See, I hear it.
Yeah, you know, Amber, I was going to tell you something. I just looked up and I see that you have special guest with Shad Pantel still up there.
I sure
do.
Not now.
Yes, so you should take that down, because he's not here, you know, so that way he doesn't... you know, I wonder why his name is up there.
There is no special guest now.
Good night, Ashley.
There's a spot for one.
There is definitely a spot for one.
So when I turn up the channel, I'm hearing audio. So if somebody doesn't have audio, they're saying it's coming in and out. It's not doing that on my side. We were basically... See, I hear it.
You know, Amber, I was going to tell you something. I
just looked up. So I have it on...
I hear it. I have two black eyes right now.
I have that on my cell phone, and I'm hearing audio clear as day. Can anybody else check that to see if on your side you're hearing audio?
And this has never happened, so I wonder if this is being done on purpose, Amber.
Well, that's after putting out last night's video. That's probably could possibly be that went into the algorithm, and I'm sure right now.
I mean, that went in, yeah. So sorry, I had to laugh on that one. Yes, it did.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. Well, we may have stumbled onto some truth too, and they maybe didn't like that.
There you go, John. There you go.
Oh, well, you know they didn't like it. So, I mean...
Yeah,
no, because they came in
like
so crystal clear.
So I wonder if this is being done.
Oh, my.
I just keep checking to see if there's audio.
Now I have a broken jaw.
No. Well, at least it wasn't fart back.
I have 2 black eyes and a broken jaw. That's so funny.
Going back to Iran now being on the table, boy, I'm going to need to look into this stuff. Because now I'm leading into what I need to search for. And I have a funny feeling here with, and I'm not talking with, I don't know. But maybe within a week or less, I think this is going to be dealt with. We're on a very, very, very fast track to all this stuff coming together. Another reason why I'm saying Lucifer could possibly be here. Because this is moving at such a fast pace. This has never happened before in history. These wars have gone on for centuries. All this crap has been here since the dawn of time with these people. This isn't, nothing new under the sun except now that they're agreeing. Now that's new. That's new. They never agree.
Well, my guess is either Satan is here or possibly a very high-ranking fallen angel is here doing something and being able to make things happen with people that are impossible to get along with. You also have to remember, too, that Iran is one of the few places that does not have a Rothschilds-controlled central bank. It's one of the last countries left.
Yeah, and that's why you're exactly right, John. And that is why they were trying to break Iran, completely crush and break them and force the economic part. And they also want the oil too. And it's the oil and the economics. Same goes for Syria. They don't have one either. And Trump went into a full-out war, and he was even using China to fully break Iran. And this is what he did to Kim Jong-un, and he entered in like fast. I mean, it was like nobody's business. He was like, "Where's the party? I am here." Okay. And Iran has been harder, but it makes me wonder, like you said, John, by Iran making that statement, that's a bold statement. That's a complete change. I mean, that's a 180. That's a complete 180.
It's a big 180. Yeah.
It's a big one. So that's like Iran announcing that they are now economically in. They are now in. And that they have agreed to this peace deal. And and I think that answers my question that I had, because I was scratching my head on Syria. And I'm wondering if that's what they're going after now. And think how fast that this happened to Iran. Think how fast it's going to go for Syria. Now, I know that Cuba was another one, but I don't know if they have economically entered in either, or if they're next.
I think they've probably done things in the background, and I think they probably are on board, but just we haven't heard any official confirmation of it, because we don't hear any activity about Cuba at all. Cuba used to be front center all the time, but not anymore.
and you're right. And they were doing, I forget what those, that gang, what it was called. I cannot believe I forgot that name. That's what Trump was saying over and over and over last year or 2 years ago. And then all of a sudden it was done with. So,
Right.
But Amber's right though. So if they entered in economically, then all that's left to me would be Assad.
Well,
Yeah, probably. And with Assad, you know, he's been playing tough guy for a long time. I think he'll cave pretty quickly. If Iran is in, I think he'll cave very quickly.
oh, I do too. But the hard thing is because they're not telling us exactly what they're doing, what's going on. They're like, oh, we're, just lightly, we're working on this, a little bleep will come out, but yet all of these deals are going on behind the tables and behind closed doors, and they're actually achieving that peace plan, in my opinion, but they're not telling everybody, and I don't think anybody's going to hear one damn iota of it until Lucifer shows up, because then shit's going to hit the fan with that deadly wound.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Well, then he's front and center, completely front and center, and then that's all. It's going to be Satan 24/7 at that point.
Lucky us.
Yeah.
Yeehaw.
It's so interesting. Now, if Syria is the only one, then it's right there, you guys. Then it's like the deadly wound has to be happening very soon, very soon. Because I just don't know about a Cuba, though. I don't know.
Now, Cuba's been quiet. I don't think anything's happening there. I think that's maybe already been done, but they just haven't said anything. Because otherwise we'd be putting on some major pressure on Cuba right now, and I'm not really hearing anything. In fact, we're almost being nice to them now at this time. So I'm not seeing any real punishment going in that direction.
Most definitely, that's a good point.
Now we have, this is weird, India and China now today agree to tackle a trade deficit, and they're calling for a new era in relations.
What? Who? China and who?
India.
And India.
And they're calling for new... I'm going to play this real quick. Let's see what this is about.
They walked and talked a bit more. Even enjoyed traditional dance performances. But the summit between India's Prime Minister and China's President had lots of photo opportunities, but no announcements of major achievements. Narendra Modi and Xi Jinping had what was called an informal two-day summit in the town of Mamallapuram. Nothing was publicly announced on their festering border disputes.
Visas and so on, this is not...
And India's Foreign Secretary categorically ruled out any discussion about the emergency in Indian-administered Kashmir following India's removal of its autonomy. He did say India made some headway on reducing its $51 billion trade imbalance with China.
Obviously, when such issues are discussed at leadership level, the leadership does not go into details. It sets the direction. And it has, in this case, not merely set a direction, it has also decided to establish a mechanism at high level to talk of how we can balance trade.
Indian officials say the summit has allowed the two leaders to build a personal rapport which should enable them to resolve their many disagreements. That may happen or not. Some economists say instead of waiting for China to bridge their trade deficit, India should instead improve its economy and lure those companies who fear the impact of the ongoing trade war between China and the United States.
So I don't know what that has to do with anything.
Yeah, that doesn't sound quite as outstanding there. But, I mean, first of all, India and China getting together, that's almost half the world's population right there.
Right. Turkish troops seize the center of Syrian border town. They're moving fast. Wow. They're really on
They're
the
just
fast
charging, right?
track. Yeah, they're just charging like a bull.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what they're doing.
Well,
Well, you know, the Bible says that Damascus will be in ruins in the last days, and we're 99% of the way there.
well, see, that's why I keep going back to the fact that all of a sudden, all these people are agreeing and coming together, which there was a picture of the leader in India and Beijing's president holding hands with their arms up in the air. This kind of stuff is weird to me. Everybody's coming to the table and agreeing that we got to make the world economy better. We got to agree to these things to help each other. We've got to come together as one. I mean, this to me is that political beast rising out of the people. Unless I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But why is it happening then? How is it happening?
Well, I think the reason it's happening is I think they're finally being told. I think a lot of these leaders are being told, look, if we don't all get on the same page here, we're going to lose the entire world economy. I think that might be part of the selling point of this. And they're just being told the truth, like, hey, we got to get it together right now, otherwise there won't be anything left. That's what I think they're trying to do, or at least part of it. And because that would be the one thing, economic conditions worldwide would be one thing that could unite the whole bunch of them.
Okay, but then on the other side of things, this all didn't have to happen like this at this rate if Trump didn't put on all those tough tariffs on everybody and sink economies. It wouldn't have gotten this far like this. This was forced.
Oh, yeah.
This has been forced for many, many decades, but really lately, he has really pushed the ball on this.
Well, you have to remember that almost everywhere except maybe the United States right now, and that the United States economy is just hanging on with a slight pulse at this point. Everybody else is in 1,000 times worse shape than we are. So I think it's easy to get through to people at this time because they're bad here in the United States, but they're 10 times worse anywhere else.
Right. So it wasn't a very hard thing to do when he just finished choking out the rest of them, like China and Iran. I mean, he really brought them to their knees economically.
Right. Well, it's been going on for a long time, but then we're finally seeing the results of it, and it's all happening simultaneously. I mean, these guys, they know what they're doing. They know when they want to turn up the heat, and they can make things happen, and that's what they're doing, and it's all coming together.
Right, but really, really fast. This is the fastest I've ever seen it go. We've been hearing about this stuff since, forever and all these deals, but the span of it has been, before it was like every year or every 10 years, every 5 years, every 3 years, every 2 years, maybe here and there. Now it's like back to back. Agreement says we need to do this, and the next day everyone's like, oh, okay, let's agree on that. Oh, okay, yeah, that sounds good. Let's do it.
Well, look at it this way. Less than 10 years ago, Venezuela was the 5th largest economy in the world. 5th largest. And now they have 1,000,000% inflation.
Right.
So, I mean, it's things are happening fast.
Oh, yeah, this is definitely something I think I'm going to get into tonight. And I have kind of like a path, I think, that I'm going to be going with this. And I kind of know a little bit about something that I think, and I don't know if it's publicized yet, but I'm going to dig into this Iran and Turkey and stuff and see if I can't find something somewhere that's explaining what's going on, because I got that feeling in the pit of my stomach again. And every time I get that feeling, something's either happening, I've missed something, I'm not connecting the dots on something. I just have that feeling. So, did we lose Olive? Is she still here?
No, I'm still here. I'm just listening in. This is good stuff, and I totally agree. No, I think you're doing a good job on connecting the dots here. I do. The reason why it feels off is because we haven't seen their next move yet. We've gotten this far and we're just waiting for the next move on the chessboard. And it's going to involve Syria.
Yeah. That's the next
It's gonna involve
move.
Syria. That's the next move. Now, I think John's right, and so are you, about the Cuba there, with all that's been going on. Like, that's not a problem now. That was already taken care of. So, I mean, we're just down to Syria. And plus, I think another part of this is with Jerusalem getting surrounded, there's a possible chance, and I hate to say this, there's a possible chance that there might be a quote unquote a terrorist attack there by one of the jihads or ISIS or something.
It's possible.
There's a possible chance.
Yeah,
but I
that's
could be
always a
wrong.
possibility.
I could be wrong. They may all just be waving, the Muslims make them in, start waving the Israeli flag. I don't know.
Nemesis just said, so curious, does anyone else see all this Russia, China, Ukraine, USA, Iran, Iraq, Venezuela, North Korea, etc., pissing contest is to have the general population looking at ground level and not up or down?
It definitely is a pissing contest, but Trump, he's made them all their B word through all the trade wars.
Yeah. Well, you look at it this way. First of all, if you take on China in a trade war and you're able to bully them enough, a lot of other countries are going to say, I don't want any part of this guy. And they'll just give up. You see, if you take on the biggest bully on the block and you kick his ass, well, that's what's going to happen.
Exactly. Exactly.
And basically,
they have this all mapped out.
And basically, Trump is saying my piss is bigger than yours, so don't mess with me.
Yeah. Well,
and now he's speaking of peace. So maybe something has already happened with Syria. We just don't know it. But we have to wait on Russia, too, to see what their next move is, too.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
I just figured something out. How... Oh, my God. Okay. How Trump, because he knew that people weren't going to sign on to a deal unless they had to. It's already, oh my God, it's already happening. He's forcing people into this peace plan by economically choking them first and then saying, well, hey, if you want to come back to the sandbox, come on in. We'll lift the sanctions, but you have to sign this and do it's happening.
It's happening, and just like just like that old saying goes, the devil is in the details.
Mm-hmm.
Sign right here.
Exactly. That I agree with that. That's a
very good,
observation.
Amber. That was excellent.
Crap! Yes. What a little sucker! Oh my God!
Yeah.
Well, look at it this way: if you are going to think about this, let's look at Donald Trump a few years back. Okay. Here he is, some guy in New York City that's building these superstructures in New York City, of all places, where there's more corruption and graft and everything else that you can possibly imagine. And this guy is going heads up with some of the most ruthless politicians, unions, everything you can possibly imagine. This guy was perfectly groomed for doing this kind of work because of what he's done in the past. He's had to deal with impossible things like that before and figure out how to strong arm enough people and put a little coalition together to make it work. He's doing the exact same thing right now.
There you go, John. That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
You don't put up $1 billion building in downtown, in Midtown Manhattan without having to grease the right palms and know how to do all that kind of thing.
Exactly. And he even got the government where he even forced their hand, where he didn't even have to pay taxes on his hotels there. You know
Yeah.
that? And he did it. And the mayor did not like him. The mayor could not stand Trump. He could not stand him. And Trump has never paid his taxes on his stuff there in New York because he has forced their own area, the area there, to force him where he did not have to pay any taxes.
Yeah, de Blasio is not going to like that because de Blasio is a total commie all the way.
There you go. So now you apply that to a world scale, and he's doing it. He's doing it.
And
this is so easy for him.
And now we know by what we just said, Turkey and Syria is the next target, or Turkey, because what did Trump just say? If you do anything that I do not like or that's against whatever, I will sanction your country. And they're like, oh, well, we don't care. Go ahead. When he does this, because he did this on purpose. This is that strong arming that John was just talking about. He knew if he pulls out, this crap was going to start. He had a chance to sanction their country, bring them down like he did China, Iran, everybody else who's fighting this whole agenda right now. And if they don't sign on right now, that he's going to choke them out just like he did the rest, and they'll be forced to sign it. They'll be forced into it. That's their next move.
That's it. That's
right.
Exactly right. And this is so easy for Trump. This is so easy. It's so easy.
He's just playing Godfather. That's all he's doing.
There you go. That's exactly what he's doing. And he has the whole world powers that are behind him.
If you want to play Godfather, you got the Kenites backing you up. You can play Godfather.
Yes, most definitely. He's got those that control both sides of the war, backing him completely.
Yeah.
He's even positioned them in our government strategically.
You see, what I think happens here a lot of times is I think the Kenites, they're always on the lookout, and they have been over the years, for the right people that they think that they can use at the right time. So you make enough noise and get enough success and all these things, then you get the talk. You're like, hey, you know, we really like what you're doing, and we can take you to a whole new level, and just kind of play along with us, and we'll get you this, we'll get you that. You'll be so rich you won't even be able to spend it all, and all that kind of stuff. And
Very good.
That's what they do. And so you find a guy like Trump, he's a perfect guy.
That's exactly right. This is what he has been groomed his whole life for. This is so funny.
You know, it's crazy when we sit here and we put all this together. I'm just like, wow.
Look how they mess with my boy.
He is definitely on track with this shit. And I said it before, he's very smart. But wow, this took it to a whole new level of smartness. Did everybody just get taken off? Upgrade to Zoom to remove. Oh, they're always removing us all the time. Well, everybody, you know what? Everybody just got kicked off Zoom again, and I'm getting ready to end this show anyways. There's a lot of stuff that I need to go look up. I think I'm on the track to something anyways, and go ahead and look out for the next video or the next live show, because I'm on track to something. We're all on track to something, and I'm going to go study. I'm going to go look some stuff up. I'll be back either with a news video, or we're going to come back on live tomorrow, so keep a peep out for all the videos that will be coming up. I know we're on to something. We're going to go look into it. And I want to thank everybody for coming in tonight. Thank you. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, put on that bell so you know if anything comes up. We go on live. We're putting videos out. These are very crucial times right now. I just want to thank everybody for coming in tonight and showing their support. I love you all. We're all in this together, and I definitely will be on track making sure that I get this stuff out to you. And I just want to, again, thank everybody for stopping by. Don't forget to hit that like button. Let's get this out there to everybody so everybody can have their eyes open and know what's going on. And I just want to tell everybody good night and God bless. Watchmen watch. And let's just keep our eyes peeled. Let's look what happens with Syria, okay, because I think that that's a very important, Syria and Turkey right now. I think that's the next people that are going to be taken down. Well, Turkey anyways, economically, if they don't join on. If they join on to this, okay, maybe he won't sanction them. But if they don't, which looks like they're fighting it right now, kind of like Iran did, then he's going to have to put those sanctions to get them to agree to this. So let's just keep our eyes peeled. And keep our eyes also on our country, what is going on, what are they doing, but not too much time. We got to make sure that we focus more on the Middle East. Definitely be watching Jerusalem, because all end-time prophecies center on Jerusalem, and it's getting pretty darn hot. So anyways, again, thank you, everybody. I love you all, and good night, and God bless.